wastewater containment facility in Florida is leaking millions of gallons of toxic sludge. It's forcing the governor to declare a state of emergency. This is the most putrid story for so many reasons. A, it's a real good look at the fact that our regulators in Florida, the DEP and the EPA, allowed this to happen at all. But why? Because regulators in Florida always side with the corporations. So they let this cat come down from New York, okay? This guy comes down from New York and he purchases this land, this HRK Holdings. Here, this is some cat in New York who owns a chain of Hooters. He owns a chain of Fredericks of Hollywood, William F. Harley III. William F. Harley III. They don't make him bond anything. He comes down and says, I'm going to take control of this and keep it safe. Do they ask him to put up a bond in case it goes bad? No. Do they ask him to do any kind of surety to make sure he's doing this right? No. Why? Because our regulators suck. And because of that, we've got thousands of people that are going to be affected by this.
And they knew something like this was going to happen, too. That's the sick part of this. You know, for 20 years, they have been storing this wastewater right there with the phosphogypsum, which is radioactive. So they've been storing it there for 20 years. They've had 2 previous leaks. I think one in 05, maybe one in 11. So they knew, or maybe it was 13. But anyway, they knew that this was shoddy work. They knew this was imminent. And then they sat on it for another 8 to 10 years waiting for the big catastrophe, which is what is awaiting Florida down there right now. They're trying to patch it, trying to stop the leaks, and they can't.
They can't.
All they can do is pump it into the Tampa Bay, and they're going to kill that ecosystem in the process.
So the DEP is going on this isn't radioactive. You don't have to worry about any radioactive element. That is nonsense. We have people going down there as we speak to test this. And what we're going to find is that this is gypsum and phosphate. They pump 33 million gallons a day.
Yeah.
33 million gallons of this into a pristine waterway, the Tampa Bay waterway, where all the fisheries, they need it to survive. It's like they're leaving town and throwing us a finger and saying, we got away with that again.
Yeah, pretty much. And of course, like you said, the Florida citizens are going to be left on the hook for this. They're going to have to figure out how to do this. They're going to have to figure out how to rebuild these ecosystems, which if there is that uranium in that phosphogypsum, that may not even be something that's possible within the next 30 to 40 years if they're pumping this much uranium into Tampa Bay. That is catastrophic.
Here, watch this. There will be no, I used to prosecute. I could come up with a dozen criminal charges against this Mr. Haley with HRK, Harley. I could come up with a dozen criminal charges. Mr. William F. Harley III, living in New York right now. There's criminal elements to this, and if our prosecutors don't do anything about it, by God, this story's going to get bigger and bigger. The Biden administration has released an ambitious infrastructure plan, but Republicans are united in their opposition to this new plan. Really, well, it's McConnell. Again, McConnell's out there saying, this is a bad idea. It's almost as if they don't understand that bridges are crumbling. Roads just have to be rebuilt. We have a grid system that no longer works. Our schools are like 20 years behind in sophistication. We're crumbling as a grid, and McConnell says, we can't spend any money on that.
Well, the past few administrations always talked a big game about infrastructure, both Trump and Obama, and ultimately neither really did anything about infrastructure at all.
Zero.
You and I were doing segments together, by the way, back during the Bush years about America's crumbling infrastructure. This is how long the problem's been going on and been ignored. So Biden comes out, he says, okay, I've got a $2 trillion plan, and we're going to spend more as the years go on. But right now, we've got to rebuild the roads, the schools, put in some high-speed rail, rebuild our energy grid to handle the renewable energy we want to invest in. To put it another way, I've got this great plan. We're going to spend a lot of money and create a lot of jobs.
Yes.
And then we had earlier this week, in addition to McConnell, Joe Manchin. He comes out and he says, I've got 7 other Democrats with me who don't like the idea of taxing corporations, so we may not support this either. So they want to protect the corporate profits and screw us out of thousands of
Yeah,
jobs.
so as we see everything crumble around us, these corporations that they don't want to tax are hiding billions of dollars offshore, along with paying minimal taxes. And as we look at this, this is an opportunity for him to deliver on what he talks about, and that is to bring green energy. This is part of the infrastructure, bring green energy to this country and put a lot of people to work. You can put a lot of people to work with this. But, you know, McConnell, the turtle man, I got to tell you, some things never change. Farron, thank you for joining me, okay?
Thank you.